which brings us to former top DOJ official Tom Dupree. Welcome, Counselor. It has been a while since I took con law. Can an inspector general grade the homework papers of a president?
Absolutely not, Trey. And look, we're going to add this inspector general proposal to that long list of failed efforts by Adam Schiff. This bill is dead politically. It will never get through Congress. But to your point, it's also blatantly unconstitutional. You cannot insert an inspector general in the White House insulated from being controlled by the president, being fired by the president, basically to operate as a shadow force exercising control over the office of the President of the United States. The founders never dreamed of anything like that. And again, it's not going to become law, but even if it were, it would get invalidated by the courts in a heartbeat.
All right, Tom, among many other weaknesses, I am not a mortgage fraud expert. What does the Constitution say about senators and where they can or should live while they serve?
Sure. The Constitution actually doesn't require that congressmen and senators live in their district while they are serving. When you get elected, you typically have to have a residence. But once you're elected, you can live in Washington if you want. Maybe you'll pay a political price if your primary residence is not the state that you're representing. But constitutionally, it's permissible. What is not permissible, and what's the issue that President Trump has been raising, is for tax purposes and mortgage purposes, you cannot say you are a principal resident of one state on one form and a principal resident of another state on another form. That's the issue that Trump has flagged and that the Justice Department is going to be looking into, whether Adam Schiff did something like that.
All right, Russia collusion is back in the news. Brennan, Comey, Clapper, Schiff. They did. I was there for it. They cost Trump a lot of his first term because that cloud was lingering over him. Is there a legal remedy, or at this point, is it just up to the American people and the court of public opinion?
Well, I think a legal remedy is going to depend on whether or not the investigators find any evidence of criminal conduct by any of these people involved in it, whether or not they made false statements, whether they signed forms attesting to things that they knew were wrong, things of that nature. I think likelier outcome here is that it is something that will play out in the political sphere. And look, I think it's helpful that we now have new people in power who are dusting off the books, the history books, seeing what happened, seeing how all this unfolded, and really just trying to get to the bottom of kind of why we went off in this direction for so many years. To your point, it did consume the first few years of the Trump presidency. And whether or not it results in criminal charges for anyone involved, I think just for the historical record, it's useful for us to understand how we got here.
All right, Tom, there's new leadership at the department. We've had Todd Blanche on our show. I hope to get Stanley Woodward on once he's confirmed. What changes would you like to see at a place you and I both used to work and still want to see do well, the Department of Justice?
Sure. Well, what I would like to see is just really a reaffirmation of the fundamental purpose of the Justice Department, which is an unwavering commitment to the rule of law and to our Constitution. I think we've seen in the past that the Justice Department, to the extent it kind of goes off the rails, it's when people's prosecutorial judgments are not independent, but they're corrupted by political considerations. And I think the mission of the new administration and the new people at the top of the Department of Justice really is going to be whether or not we can confirm the Justice Department's total 100% commitment to the rule of law in America. That's what the Justice Department stands for. That's why for so many years, as you know, Trey, it was the gold standard of federal agencies, these independent prosecutors with rock-solid integrity. And I think we need to find a way to get back to that point, to where the American people have 100% confidence in the Justice Department, that it's full of men and women of integrity and a commitment to the rule of law in America.
Yep, Tom, that aspiration you just articulated is why we both loved our jobs, and I would love to see the department get back there. One of my favorite lawyers, Tom Dupree, thank you for joining us on a Sunday night.
Thank you, Trey.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.